Stop buying fertilizer every single spring. Your soil doesn't need more chemicals. It doesn't need nitrogen or phosphorus or potassium. What it needs is something the fertilizer industry will never tell you about because they can't make money selling it to you year after year. For decades, you've been told that NPK fertilizers are all plants need. Buy it every spring. Spread it. Water it in. Repeat forever. But here's what they're not telling you. Your soil is missing 60 other essential minerals: calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, boron, and 50 more. No amount of NPK fertilizer fixes mineral deficiency. That's why your tomatoes taste bland even though they're technically growing. That's why your yields shrink a little more each year. 3 years ago, my tomatoes were pathetic. 10 to 15 per plant if I was lucky. Small, watery, tasteless. I was spending $40 every spring on fertilizer, and the results kept getting worse. An old farmer at the feed store watched me load bags of Miracle Grow into my truck. He shook his head and said, "Your soil is dead, son. It doesn't need chemicals. It needs rocks." I thought he was crazy. Rocks? He explained that fertile valleys were created by glaciers grinding rocks into powder over millions of years. That powder is full of every mineral plants need. I could buy a bag of volcanic rock dust for $15 and do in one afternoon what takes nature 1,000 years. I tried it. Spread one 50-pound bag of gray basalt powder over my garden. No digging. Just sprinkled it on the surface. Took me 20 minutes. Next season, my tomato plants exploded. 45 to 60 tomatoes per plant. Fat, heavy, bursting with flavor. My neighbor came over and accused me of cheating. When I told him I used $15 worth of ground-up rocks, he didn't believe me. But the evidence was hanging on my vines. Today, I'm sharing 3 secrets to remineralizing dead soil without breaking your back or emptying your wallet. Secret number 3 reveals the underground fungal highway that makes this work like magic and explains why organic farms eventually outproduce chemical farms. If you want to fix your soil once and harvest abundantly for the next 10 years, hit that subscribe button right now. Let me explain why your soil is probably dead, even if you've been fertilizing religiously. Every time you harvest a tomato or pull a carrot, you're removing minerals from your soil. Those minerals are gone. They're in your kitchen now, and rain leaches minerals downward past the root zone. Over 20 or 30 years of gardening the same beds, you've depleted the trace minerals that were there when you started. What's left is the big 3 that you keep adding: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. But plants need 60 elements to truly thrive. Without the other 57, your food is less nutritious. This isn't theory. The USDA tracks nutrient density. A tomato grown in 1950 had 30 milligrams of calcium per 100 grams. That same variety grown in 2020 has 9 milligrams. The genetics didn't change, the soil did. Your grandparents could taste the difference. They'd say food doesn't taste like it used to. You thought it was nostalgia. It's not. It's nutrition. The minerals are gone. The fertilizer industry focuses on NPK because those 3 drive visible growth. Green leaves, thick stems. You look at your plants and think they're healthy, but underneath they're starving for trace minerals they can't access because those minerals aren't in the soil anymore. And the industry can't patent rocks. They can't sell you volcanic dust every spring, so they don't talk about it. What fixes this? Rocks, specifically volcanic rock dust. Not all rocks are equal. You want volcanic rocks because they formed from the Earth's mantle, where all the minerals originate. My top recommendation is basalt. Gray to black volcanic rock containing over 50 different minerals with especially high levels of iron, magnesium, and calcium. Where to buy? Farm supply stores are the cheapest source. $12 to $18 per 50-pound bag. One bag covers 500 square feet and lasts 10 years. Let's do the math. $15 divided by 10 years equals $1.50 per year. Compare that to $40 every single year for chemical fertilizers. Over a decade, you'll spend $15 on rock dust versus $400 on chemicals. That's $385 in savings, plus you'll have better results. How much you need? For a 20 by 20 garden, that's 400 square feet. One bag does your entire space. Don't waste money on expensive specialty products labeled as remineralizer. They're charging $60 for the same basalt I buy for $15 at the farm supply store. Just walk in and ask for basalt rock dust or rock powder. Traditional advice says till the rock dust into your soil. That requires a rototiller or hours of manual labor. It's unnecessary. It's actually counterproductive because tilling destroys soil structure and kills the beneficial organisms we need. Rock dust works perfectly when applied to the surface. Nature doesn't till. Rain carries minerals downward gradually. Earthworms mix it as they move through soil. Time does the heavy work. Zero bending method. Open your bag. Walk slowly and sprinkle it over the soil surface like you're feeding chickens. You want even coverage, just a light dusting. You don't need to bend. Stand upright, toss the rock dust forward, take a step, repeat. Takes about 20 minutes to cover 400 square feet. Your coverage goal is a thin, visible layer. Think of it like a light dusting of snow. About 1/8 of an inch depth is perfect. When to apply? Fall after harvest is best. Spring before planting is second best. After application, water lightly to help it settle, or just let the next rain do that job. No tilling required, no mixing. Just let it sit there. Within 6 months, that surface application has integrated throughout the top 12 inches of soil. Nature does all the work. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a hidden underground partnership that makes this 100 times more effective. Plants cannot absorb rocks directly. The particles are too large. Plants need help. That help comes from mycorrhizal fungi that form partnerships with plant roots. 90% of all plant species depend on this relationship. Here's how it works. You spread rock dust on your soil. Fungi sense the presence of new minerals. They grow thread-like structures toward the rock dust. The fungi secrete acids that dissolve minerals from the rock particles. Those dissolved minerals are transported through their network directly to plant roots. In exchange, the plant gives the fungi sugars from photosynthesis. This underground network is massive. It creates a living mineral highway running 24 hours a day for years. No human effort required. Without fungi, rock dust releases minerals very slowly through simple weathering. With fungi actively mining the rocks, minerals become available within months. The fungi increase effectiveness by roughly 100-fold. This is how forests work on rocky mountain slopes. How to support the fungal network? Add compost when you apply rock dust. Mulch with 2 to 3 inches of wood chips. Stop tilling forever. Never till again because it shreds the fungal networks. And don't use synthetic fertilizers because they cause fungi to go dormant. This is why organic farms eventually outproduce chemical farms. It's not just the compost, it's the living soil. It's the fungal highways transporting minerals that chemicals never provided. Let me show you the 10-year results that prove this works. I tracked my tomato yields for 10 years. Here's what happened. Before rock dust, years 1 and 2 averaged 10 to 15 tomatoes per plant. Bland, watery taste. I spent $40 per year on fertilizer. My soil was compacted and hard. Year 1 after application, yield jumped to 25 to 30 tomatoes per plant. That's a 2 times increase immediately. Taste was noticeably better. I'd spent $15 on rock dust. Soil felt slightly looser. In years 2 and 3, yield climbed to 35 to 45 tomatoes per plant. Taste was what I remembered from childhood. Plant health was excellent. $0 on fertilizer. Earthworms everywhere. Years 4 through 10. Yield reached 50 to 60 tomatoes per plant. That's 6 times my original yield. Taste was the best in the neighborhood. Plant health was perfect. Never had to spray anything. $0 spent for 6 straight years. My soil was black, rich, and alive. Other crops improved too. My pepper yield tripled. Squash got bigger and tasted better. Everything in my garden improved across the board. I sent soil samples to a lab for testing. Before rock dust, 12 minerals were detected. After 3 years, 47 minerals were detected. Calcium levels increased 300%. Magnesium increased 250%. The remineralization was complete and verified by science. My neighbor copied me in year 3. His soil was even worse than mine. He applied basalt, added compost, and mulched. Year 1, he doubled his yield. Year 3, he tripled it. He's now teaching others the same method. Let me recap so you can start immediately. Secret number 1. Dead soil isn't hungry for NPK. It's starving for 60 trace minerals that decades of harvesting depleted. Chemical fertilizers don't fix this. Secret number 2. Basalt rock dust is the solution. $15 for a 50-pound bag at farm supply stores. Covers 500 square feet. Lasts 10 years. Annual cost of $1.50. Secret number 3. Zero bending application. Sprinkle on the surface. No tilling required. Takes 20 minutes. Rain and earthworms mix it in for you. Secret number 4. Mycorrhizal fungi partnership is the multiplier. Fungi mine minerals from rocks and trade them to plants. This increases effectiveness 100-fold. Support fungi with compost, mulch, and no-till practices. Total cost is $15 one time. 10-year savings is $385. Yield increase ranges from 2 times to 6 times depending on how long you wait. Picture this. It's October. You're looking at 5 tomato plants absolutely covered in fruit. You start picking. By the time you finish, you have more tomatoes than your family can eat in a week. You slice one for lunch. That smell hits you. That rich, sweet, complex tomato smell you remember from childhood. You take a bite. The flavor is intense. This is what tomatoes are supposed to taste like. Oh, your neighbor sees you with baskets of tomatoes and asks how you do it. You think about the $15 bag of gray rock dust you spread 3 years ago. The bag that took 20 minutes to sprinkle. That's the revolution. That's refusing to be an annual customer when there's a one-time solution. That's $15 and 30 minutes that change the next decade. If this showed you how to fix depleted soil for $15 and stop buying fertilizer forever, hit that like button. I need to hear from you. Question 1. Have your yields been declining? Question 2. Have you heard of rock dust before? Question 3. What's your biggest challenge? Drop your answers below. If you're tired of the fertilizer industry treating you like an annual customer, hit subscribe. Next week, the root cellar secret that keeps vegetables fresh for 6 months with 0 electricity. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I've created a free guide comparing rock dust types with sources by region. It's in the description. Download it before you buy. Remember, Basalt rock dust, 50-pound bag, $15. Farm supply store, sprinkle on surface, one-time application, 10 years of benefits. That's soil regeneration. Happy gardening the patient, wise, long-term way.